Alright, so actually before we export this mesh, uh, I kinda maybe overlooked one thing and slightly messed up another. So, the first thing, the thing I overlooked, is some of these boards, I need these to be facing the same way. So when we get the wood texture, nothing is mismatched between like the front of the board going this way and then the back of the board going the other way. So that's kind of important right there. But the issue with that being the way our map came out, can I just grab these? Yes. Uh, yeah, so those are kind of connected. Need to get rid of those. Get rid of these. Okay, because I want to lower those. And maybe I'll take some of these smaller boards and try to move them out and up to here. These are all the little back frame pieces. And those really don't matter nearly as much as the primary boards we're going to be seeing. Alright, so I'm going to try to get these in here. I don't know what the best way to fit all this in is necessarily. And can I get that? I feel like that's not gonna fit. Just a little hunch. What if I grab all this stuff and actually I'm gonna move it closer there. Those are not quite going to fit. But I could take these. Maybe these as well. Yeah, this is getting perhaps a bit fiddly and overcomplicated, but that's what it takes. That's what it takes. Not gonna worry too much about all these. A few of these seem to be. If I just rotate those around, I think that's the correct orientation. The important thing is that everything matches. Doesn't really matter if one thing individually is the other way, because for that piece, I'll just rotate the texture. I just need both halves of the islands to match. So the front and back of this match. It's okay if like this leg, which this leg isn't. Yep. Or is that one, or that one, or that one. See, these are problems. I need to get these all sideways. So I'm gonna move them all out. Alright. I'm gonna try to maybe... Are these too long? Yeah, they seem a bit long. Alright, I'm gonna try and get these matched up. Get these in here in the correct orientation. Then fit those back. And okay. Does appear that everything now matches. Up is up, right is right. Life is good. So now that that's all done, the other thing I didn't do is, I believe I fixed it now, but when I renamed everything, the way I did it, it made it so the numbers didn't match. I had top plank 0 through 4, and then in high I had top plank 5 through 9 or whatever. And that isn't going to work when we go to texture it. So the correct, I just added subdivisions. It's Control F2, not Control 2. Or whatever I pressed. And what I want to do is I want to set the name, set it new, and I want to do, you know, whatever the name is, so top plank. And then I just went ahead and added the .00. But then they all get their name. And then we come back because we want it numbered, but then we also want the suffix. And I believe, I'm just going to try it just now because I believe I tried it, but going to feel really dumb if I go and don't even try this. Yeah, if you do it this way, it just puts a bunch of zeros and then numbers it after. Which is not what we want. We don't want to be underscore low dot whatever. I'm not sure if I wonder actually if we do it with the underscore. I can't remember how Painter interprets that. If that works, that'd be great. I think I'm going to actually do a bit of a live test with this ridiculous underscore .0 naming convention. If anyone knows a better way of doing this, that would be amazing. If you would tell me. Tell me exactly how to do this. Because I do feel like this is a little not amazing. That's what I'm gonna go with. This is not amazing. Anyway, I'm going to export these. Going to export my high right here. Export. And my low. I'm just going to make sure I select everything. Export this. The selected objects and apply transform and all that. Export. Okay, and Now I will navigate the depths of the folders, and I will find where I put it. My FBX. Alright, I'm going to drag my wooden table low in here, and I'm going to use the Unreal Engine 4 template because I plan on targeting Unreal Engine. I'm going to switch the resolution to 4K. I'm going to click OK. And I'm going to know if the naming worked or not, because if it didn't, the baking process is just going to completely fail. So, yeah, it's going to be pretty clear. So I want wooden table 2 high for my high definition mesh. I want a match by mesh name. That's going to be important for this. And I want the ID map to be material color. And I'm going to click bake. Hey, I think it's actually working. See how we got a normal map for the top planks, but nothing else? Because I believe their names don't match. Maybe they do, I forget. I think I only fixed the top planks, actually. I'm gonna check. Yeah, like I've got leg 08 in low. What's my leg here? Yeah, I've got leg 04. So see, this naming convention won't work, because this is leg.004, and there is no leg.004 in the low version. And so the baking completely failed for the legs. Oh. But it did still actually give quite a bit of bleed. So I kind of feel like it actually did not totally work. Like it sort of worked. But not really. I forget what it takes to get that sort of working, but not really result. Like, I forget, is it the high and low? I guess not really working correctly. Because it's high dot number, all these numbers. Did the high underscore work? No, I don't think any of them are fine. None of these look fine. Yeah, these are all wrong. They all have quite a bit of bleed. So, okay. I'm going to do it my slightly more painful way, but the way that works. Underscore plank .000 as my new. So I get all these named planks. And then I come in and I add a new suffix. Just going to cut that. I'm going to do underscore low. Okay. Now if I come to the top and I do a similar thing, Control F2, new name, paste the name in, okay, Control F2. This is definitely my favorite part of life in general. These are the highs I live for. That is what I'm trying to say. Underscore high. Okay. Alright. Now I believe this. If we get this set up right, I export the high, and then turn that off, and then I come here and I get the low. I believe the way we have the naming convention set up now, because it worked earlier, and if it doesn't work now, I'm going to be really mad and confused. But if I rebake the textures now, I don't believe there will be that bleeding from the planks anymore. I believe that's going to go away. I do believe. I do. It is somewhat interesting. You'll notice the world space normal, and I forget what maps, but a few maps still bake correctly. Like the curvature, that bakes. The position seems to bake. The thickness, I guess it's gonna fail. Like some of the things aren't baking. Like our ID map is just green because only the top table is working as intended. But yeah, you can see all that nasty, nasty bleeding. It's all gone now. And it seems like magic or witchcraft, and to be honest, it is. It is a little bit of that. But really it's just because Substance is now correctly separating the meshes by name and by low and high, and baking like this individual mesh against the other corresponding mesh and ignoring everything else. And that is kind of simple, really. But believe it or not, it wasn't that long ago. That was a fairy tale. That wasn't real. This is the future. I mean, it's not the future, it's this current year. We've had this for a while now, but it's still pretty amazing. You remember baking meshes before and doing exploded bakes? Then it will bring a tear to your eye as well. That is all I'm trying to say. Also, I think I want to raise the bevel count, the segments, to 2. 1, I think it does look a bit better on the edges, but it also prevents the bevel modifier from kind of screwing with our UV map, because it kind of leaves the seam alone, and then it adds, like, yeah, there's no way to really see it without applying it. I want to show you what I mean here. Like if I apply it now, oh actually if I apply it now that's horrible, we end up with that. Never mind, never apply it there. It's all gone wrong. That's the exact opposite of what I want to happen. But anyway. Let's just, wait, the segments are 3 on that one? That's not what I want. It doesn't matter. It's still awful. Undo. Put the segments to 1 and apply. Why do I feel like that nothing I do matters? It's the same, whether it's 2 segments or 3 segments or 5 segments. But yeah, the important thing is we kind of took our UV map with geometry being here. And if we remove that geometry after the fact with the bevel modifier, which having 3, it does put 1, maybe not in exactly the same place, but near it. But if we put the segments down to 1 and apply, there's no line clearly there. And so you do end up with you'll get like weird errors, kind of banding, and it just won't look very good, really. Like we should have, I mean, one that just doesn't look particularly brilliant, but if I go and I find a wood material, perhaps I can demo this a bit better. No. It actually doesn't look all that bad. I mean, seams are always ugly, but yeah, I'm gonna go with My maybe not all that helpful, but it makes me sleep better at night. 2 bevel segment. Because I like the bevel segment at 2. That's really all that matters. It's what I like. My preference is all that matters. Okay, yep. I don't always trust it when I use the Alt key to apply it to everything. Because every now and then it just seems to not work. But most of the time it seems to work. If I hit 2 and then enter, does it make everything 2? Because I don't want to just, I made this one 3. See, this is why I just don't like anything sometimes. But like the rest are 2. See, I don't want to add 2, I want to make everything 2. I just want to trust Blender. But I can't. Blender will betray me. It will betray all of us if we do not watch it carefully. But anyway, I think that's alright. That does honestly add quite a bit of geometry to our mesh. It might not really be worth it. But YOLO, as the kids say. Actually, I need to, instead of worrying about all that, I need to get like the frame in the frame section and the legs in the leg section here. I need to fix the names for the rest of the mesh. So Control F2, new, and leg dot 00. Again, this is all very exciting. We know. It's important you add the suffix now as opposed to later, because if I went into high, it would redo all the leg names. Actually, are the names in base kind of getting in the way? Probably doesn't matter. Whoa, yeah, I messed that up. I want to add the suffix of low. Okay, I want to do the high now to make sure I get the same. So it doesn't really matter what they are, just as long as they are the same. And select the legs. New. Leg.000. We had 0, 4, 5, 6. So yeah, I think base must have like 1, 2, and 3. But that does not really matter. All that matters is that low and high are the same. Suffix underscore high. Very nice. So legs are done. Now all I need to do is the frame. New frame dot 000. Okay, so we got all the frame pieces. And I'm just going to cut that. Suffix underscore high. Okay. And it goes 0, 12, ends on 22. So I just need to make sure table low ends up with the same. Control F2, new, paste that in. 012 ends on 22. Yep. Should be good to go. Add the suffix underscore low. There we go. There we go. That wasn't all that bad. It's just a little soul-crushing tedium to build character. Okay, so now that that's all done, or it should be all done, I'm going to bring in the new version, and I'm going to rebake everything, and this time we should end up with a ID map for everything, although honestly I'm not sure we're actually going to use the ID map, if I'm being completely honest right now. You're going to work for everything else, right? Yeah, I think it just hasn't updated the maps in the UI. It should be working for everything. It should. Yeah, there's our ID map with stuff in it. That's what's up. Okay. And yeah, I mean, this isn't like too awful, but yeah, it's not what we want either. So I'm gonna make a folder. I'm gonna call it top. We're gonna add a black mask. I could have used the with color select key. I should have, but I never do. So I'm gonna add a green mask. And now I'm going to put the wood here, so now it's only on the top. I'm going to rotate it 90. And that, that's pretty okay. Really the only issue is we do have some of the textures kinda... I don't know, they're a bit close. I don't know, it's actually pretty okay, I think. Maybe everything in the map's too... or it's quite separated. Not too separated, but very separated. What happens if, like, all the tops are directly next to each other is you end up with too much of... like, this looks like it kind of matches. I guess it goes down there. But you see, you end up with the texture tiling seamlessly over every plank. Which is not what we want. They shouldn't look like that. I believe we can get even more pronounced if I switch to triplanar. And you see you get it like perfectly tiling over certain pieces, or you should. Are we not? No, like that's pretty... You shouldn't see that. That shouldn't be there. Realistically. So we're definitely getting some undesired texture. I don't know what to call it, but texture crossover, I suppose. I might need to edit the mesh actually. That is definitely going into each other there. That's quite obvious. But if you've got something like this and you don't like how it's matching up like that, what you would then want to do is, and we don't have to do this too much, I would say, since it really seems to be these two that are quite bad. I'm going to use the mesh fill, create a new mask with the mesh fill. I'm going to select this mesh, and it should be popping up eventually, yes. Okay. But now, I want to try changing the offset. What I should be able to do now is just tweak this one mesh's offset. I feel like I made it worse. Yeah, that's okay. This doesn't look at all like they are somehow the same piece. And you can do that for as many boards as you want. You might even want to, instead of doing this whole top-down approach, you might want to do that for all of them. So you could come here and duplicate it. And we want 5 copies. We want to add a black mask. Use the mesh fill. And it'll update. I'm going to add a black mask. Do the mesh fill. Black mask. Click on the mesh. Black mask on the mesh. And then you just play with the offset. Get something looking different. And now these definitely don't really, well, maybe those two honestly do. Kind of through there. I mean, you don't have to be this brutal about it, but I do like to really make sure it doesn't look like the texture is just tiling over everything. I think that adds a very nice quality look. And we should have some nice bleed over since we're using UV projection. If I switch to triplanar, it will mess up a bit. I mean, triplanar's not perfect, and I don't know any way to get triplanar to do this correctly. I don't know. What if I add... I mean, I do love trying, like, silly things live, but isn't there, like, a triplanar advanced filter? Maybe that'll... Yeah, that didn't help. That's not what I want. Maybe I just don't know how to use this node. What if I put the tiling to 0? Yeah, that really doesn't help. Yeah, that's worse. Everything is worse. Yeah, I don't really get what it's doing here. I'm going to turn that off. I'm going to go with the method I know, which is UV. But the issue with that is our seams. Our seams now no longer match. And that's unfortunate. You know, this doesn't really look like it carries over correctly. But there is a way you can try to get around that. I'm going to try here, at least. And I'm going to set it so it only is affecting color for now. I'm going to switch it to pass through. I'm going to use the clone tool. I want absolute source. And I believe it's V, and like click to select. I should be able to... Whoa, I thought I was using absolute source. I don't want you to move it. Okay. Control 6. No. Still. Sure. Okay. Well, it doesn't want to be absolute source. It wants to be a relative source. The idea is you can clone some information over. And what that should do is enable you to kind of create the illusion that maybe there's not this ridiculous seam here. I mean, you can still see the seam, but you can try to paint this out. It's really not going that well for me, though, honestly. So I think what I'm going to do is delete that. And I'm just going to say this is good enough for now. Can't remember how to make the clone brush behave, and it can be a bit of a pain to try to make this look really, really good. But honestly, it's not every day a player in a game comes and goes, aha, immersion broken. I see through your lies. I see through your seam. If you've played a game, you've probably gone through and you've seen way worse. Way worse. But anyway, there's the start of our top. And I guess I spent longer than I thought messing about. But I think I'll finish texturing it in another video. I don't want it to get too long. So yeah, I'm just gonna stop it here and then pick up finishing the texturing in the next one.